My parents sent a message. We know you covered the $46,000 for the venue, but Lily's fiancé doesn't want you at the wedding. I went anyway. My sister hurled her wine glass and shouted, "Who let Mr. Pennypincher in?" Mom tugged me aside, whispering, "Apologize, don't spoil her moment." I just grinned and pulled the plug on my support. The next morning, a note arrived from the groom. He expressed gratitude, but I'd received the text the night before the ceremony. "We know you paid for the venue, but the groom prefers you not attend." $46,000, that's what I transferred to the event coordinator last month. The entire cost, covering booking fees, security, lighting, even the opening fireworks display. I'd footed every cent, yet they wanted me gone. I read the text 3 times, sitting in my quiet apartment. My beat-up 2009 Toyota Corolla sat outside, as if it remembered all the trips to wedding planning meetings. My hands trembled. My email was cluttered with vendor bills. My fridge still held the cake sample from last week's tasting, and they didn't want me there, so I slipped into my finest suit, and I showed up. The second I stepped onto the venue's polished stone entry, I felt the coldness. No one greeted me. No one met my gaze. The atmosphere was heavy with hushed tension and forced smiles. I saw her near the stage, Lily radiant in her gown. But when our eyes locked, her face hardened like my presence marred her perfect vision. She used to call me Mr. Pennypincher, a jab whenever I vetoed her extravagant demands. No to a $12,000 designer dress flown in from Paris. No to hiring European florists for a 1-hour ceremony arch. No to $8,000 custom rings when her fiancé barely had steady work. Yet I still paid. I attended every meeting. Took days off work, even risking a promotion just to help choose tablecloths. Because I thought it meant something. Because I thought I meant something. She once told her fiancé, "My family's loaded, you don't need to chip in. This is my asterisk show." He just nodded, a bystander in a spectacle I was funding. Then it happened. I was lingering by the appetizer table, trying to fade into the background when her voice cut through, sharp, loud, venomous. "Who invited Mr. Pennypincher?" A wine glass shattered on the floor near me. Lily glared, her bridal fury on full display. Guests turned, whispers spread. I hadn't uttered a word before I could react. My mom pulled me aside. Her voice was low, urgent. "Say sorry, don't wreck her day." Sorry. For attending the wedding I bankrolled. I didn't shout, I didn't cause a scene, I smiled. Then I opened my banking app, scrolled to pending payments. Tap, canceled catering, canceled transport, canceled the cake. It all unraveled in seconds. Murmurs grew louder. The band packed up first. Then the food truck driver caused a commotion at the entrance. My sister's dream crumbled faster than a sandcastle in a storm. Panic, chaos, screams, and I stood there silent in the eye of it all. Because sometimes quiet speaks louder than fireworks. You'd think $46,000 would earn a thank you, or at least a seat at the event I funded. But entitlement doesn't say thanks. It just demands more. Let's go back. It began over a year ago. Lily got engaged and the family chat buzzed with excitement. I was genuinely thrilled for her. She sounded ecstatic. Then came her voice note. "Hey, weddings are pricey. Just need a little help with the venue deposit, just until we sort the budget." That first ask was $5,000. I sent it that day. It felt right to support her. She's my sister, after all. Then came the next plea. The dress I adore is $12,000. I know it's steep. I'll find another unless you can help." I said no. That's when the mockery started. "Always the tightwad Mr. Pennypincher," she teased in the chat, her tone sharp despite the smiley emoji. It stung, but I still covered the photographer $3,200. Then the DJ another $2,000, then music permits, venue lighting, a breakfast canopy for the post-wedding brunch. Each time it was just one more thing. "You're the only one who can help. We don't want his family involved. Easy." That line twisted my gut. It wasn't just money, it was control. Lily didn't want a wedding. She wanted a spectacle, a display of status. The guest list read like a social media influencer roster. Bloggers, sponsors, trendsetters, and me? The wallet excluded from the spotlight. It'd be funny if it weren't so infuriating. Let me tell you about myself. I'm 33, an art director at a modest creative firm. I craft ad campaigns, pitch decks, and packaging for mid-tier beauty brands and startups. It's not tech mogul cash, but it's solid, honest work. I rent a 1-bedroom walk-up. Leaky sink, outdated fridge. My 2009 Corolla's side mirror is held together with duct tape, but my debts are clear. My credit's solid, and I believed in supporting family, even when it drained me, until it broke me. What broke it? Her text about the rings. Found the perfect custom bands, $8,000. I know it's a lot, but it's our legacy, right? I asked. Where's he in this? She replied, it's not his role. This is our asterisk family's event. He's just the groom. That's when it hit me. I wasn't funding a marriage. I was financing a performance. She wouldn't even let him contribute. Said it had to look like it all came from our side. A facade of wealth built on my savings. It bled into my life. I missed a key pitch to attend her cake tasting. Lost a major client that day. My boss told me to get my priorities straight. My girlfriend, now ex, left 3 months before the wedding. She said, I feel like I'm dating a cash machine for someone else's fantasy. She cried, I don't even think she likes you, she just knows you'll pay. She was right. I wasn't ready to admit it, not yet. It got worse. A month before the wedding, I learned Lily told her friends and some vendors I was just helping with logistics. I've got this covered, it's all my vision, she bragged in an Instagram. My name, nowhere, not in captions. Not in credits. I paid for a brunch for 60 people. The thank you note went to her college friend who brought cupcake toppers. My parents played along. Mom said, you're doing your part as the big brother. This is family. Right. Family silently bleeds so a bride can play princess. Still, I kept paying, kept sending money, because I was waiting for something. Acknowledgement, appreciation. No, I was waiting to see if they'd ever see me as more than a bank account. They didn't. Then came the rehearsal dinner. I wasn't invited. Let that sink in. I'd bankrolled this $70,000 extravaganza, and they forgot to include me the night before. When I texted Mom, she said, Lily thought it'd be awkward with the influencer crowd. Awkward. The guy funding the food might clash with the guests eating it. I nearly canceled everything that night, but I held off. I wanted it to be public. I wanted the collapse to be undeniable. On the wedding day, as I walked into that venue and felt the chill, my banking app was already open. When Lily smashed that wine glass, it was the final push. I smiled and canceled every pending payment. That's when it all fell apart. No caterers arrived. The planner was frantic, yelling into her headset. The floral arch delivery turned back. Guests whispered. Someone announced, the bar's closed. The music stopped mid-song. The DJ packed up, muttering about unpaid fees, and left. Lily went pale. The groom looked lost. What's happening? He asked. Didn't your family handle this? That's when Lily's fake smile cracked. I walked past her, calm, unfazed. Unapologetic, because for once I wasn't paying to be invisible. The moment I canceled those transfers, the venue started to falter, like a blockbuster play losing power mid-scene. It was subtle at first. Bar staff stopped serving. No announcements were made. Waiters huddled in the back, checking phones nervously. The catering van never showed. The wedding cake didn't arrive. The champagne ran dry. The DJ unplugged mid-track, slung his bag over his shoulder, and walked out. It was quiet chaos, polite panic. Well-dressed guests stood confused, holding empty glasses. Lily noticed first. She scanned the room, then locked eyes with me like a predator cornered in her own dream. What? What's going on? I sipped water from the one vendor still running, a hydration station I hadn't paid for. Then she screamed loud enough to hush the crowd. Did you do this? Every head turned. I didn't shout. I didn't raise my voice. I walked to the center of the room, calm, deliberate, and said, You're right, Lily. I don't belong here. You said so yourself. Mr. Penny Pincher, not part of the vibe, just the guy who pays the bills. I paused. So I stopped paying. Gasps, murmurs. Someone dropped a glass of sparkling wine. Lily stepped forward, tears smudging her makeup. You can't ruin my wedding. Your wedding. I chuckled, bitter but calm. You mean the one I paid for? The groom, silent beside her, snapped his head toward me. Wait, what? Yeah, I said. Maybe someone should have told you your venue, your brunch, your tent, your quartet wasn't funded by a fairy godmother. It was me. He looked stunned. I thought her parents... Nope, I said. They covered some napkins and an ice sculpture nobody asked for. The rest came from my modest art director paycheck and my crumbling sanity. Lily spun, hissing. You're doing this because I didn't invite you to the rehearsal? You're petty. No, I said. I'm done being erased. The crowd was all ears now. Phones were out. Whispers grew. Lily screamed, You're ruining everything. I deserve this day. You do, I nodded. You deserve a day that shows who you are, self-centered, entitled, ungrateful. Here it is. The planner, frazzled but professional, took the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, due to an unforeseen payment issue, dinner is canceled. Please enjoy the gardens until further notice. The gardens, code for stand outside while we try to fix this mess. Half the guests stood in stunned silence. Some left. And me, I headed for the exit. But as I reached the door, Lily screamed, You're not family anymore. I turned, smiled with the calm of someone with nothing left to lose, and said, Then send me a bill. Outside, the groom caught up to me in the parking lot. "Is this true?" he asked. "You paid for everything. All but the wine. That was her friend's dad, apparently." "God," he muttered, running his hands through his hair, the gesture of a man whose reality just shattered. "She told me it was family savings, that her parents handled it." I nodded. "She also said you were just a guest of honor, an honor that extended to us both." Then he said something unexpected. "I'm sorry," and he meant it. Back inside, it was pandemonium. Vendors packed up. Drunk guests stumbled out, annoyed the open bar was gone. Influencers deleted their stories in real time. Lily was still screaming. Mom was in tears. Dad was demanding someone fix it. The cake guy showed up late, saw the chaos, and left with the cake still in his van. And my family acted like I betrayed them. But here's the truth. I didn't ruin the wedding. I just stopped funding the fantasy. I left without another word. No drama, no fight, no broken glasses, just me and my Corolla driving away from a $70,000 monument to ingratitude. As I drove, Lily texted, "I hope you're happy." I didn't respond, but I smiled. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't the family's cash machine. I was the man who stood his ground. The next morning, my phone pinged at 7:12 a.m. Not Mom, not Lily. It was Ethan, the groom, saved in my phone as Groomsman Ethan. "Can we talk? I owe you an explanation, or maybe you owe me one." Either way, I wrote it down. Attached was a PDF. Subject, "I'm sorry you paid for the lie." I opened it, unprepared for what followed. I didn't know, not fully. I thought she was using savings, gifts, some family help. I offered to pitch in multiple times. Lily said, "My brother's handling logistics, relax." She never said you covered the venue, or the photographer, or the catering. She said her family had it handled, told me to focus on showing up and looking sharp. Last night after you left, I confronted her, asked why she lied. Why she built a palace on borrowed stones. Her answer, "This was supposed to be MY Day. He owes me that much." I asked what you owed her. She said, "He's got no wife, no kids, no mortgage. What else is he for?" That's when it clicked. By now, I was sitting up in bed, reading each word like it was carved in stone. She wasn't marrying me. She was marrying a story, a script where you were the cash machine, her friends were the audience, and I was a prop. I never wanted this kind of wedding. I just wanted something real, but she wanted to be admired. So she used you and me and everyone else. Then came the line that hit hard. "I canceled the honeymoon this morning. I told her I need time, not because I'm mad at her, but because I'm ashamed I didn't see this sooner." One last paragraph. "You were the only one who built something real, not for likes, not for clout, but because you believed it mattered. You didn't deserve this. If I ever marry for real, not for show, not for followers, I hope it's to someone with your kind of honor. I'm sorry and thank you for exposing the charade." I sat with that letter for a long time. Then I turned off my phone and breathed. For the first time in a year, I wasn't crushed by someone else's demands. Then the family chat exploded. "Mom, Lily's heartbroken. You humiliated her on her biggest day." "Dad, you could have handled this better. You shamed us in front of professionals, doctors, attorneys, magistrates. Aunt Clara, I left early. Cousin Luke, people were asking if everything's all right. Uncle Derek. That was legendary. His message was quickly deleted by the group admin. And then Lily, I hope you never feel the disgrace I endured last night. You destroyed everything." I didn't reply. I typed a single line, then erased it. Typed another and sent it. I didn't destroy it. I just stopped covering for your lies. That night I switched off my phone. No more apologies, no more justifications. I sank into my couch, poured a glass of inexpensive red wine I'd kept for a rainy day, and flipped through old photos of Lily and me as kids. One stood out. Halloween 2001. She was a fairy queen. I was a tinfoil astronaut. Even back then, she sobbed until I handed over my candy stash. And I gave it up, because that's what I was taught. Give, silently, without complaint, but not anymore. The following week, a message hit me like a freight train, from someone unexpected. Her former college roommate, Sarah, the one who brought the cupcake decorations. "Hey, I saw what went down," people noticed. They talked about it after. Not in judgment, in admiration. You stood your ground for your value, for the truth. Most would have stayed silent. You didn't yell, didn't fight, didn't degrade. You reclaimed your strength with one tap. That was poetry. By Thursday, word reached me that the venue was pursuing legal action over unpaid fees. The coordinator tweeted cryptically about blacklisting influencer brides. The photographer posted a lone black and white shot of an empty table, captioned, "The quiet spoke louder than any vows." And Lily, her social media went dark. For the first time in a year, her profile was still. No filters, no hashtags, no posts, just silence. And silence, it turns out, roars. 2 weeks after the wedding collapse, I sold my car, my trusty old Corolla. Duct-taped mirror, creaky clutch, the works. The buyer, a mechanic, asked if I was finally getting a shiny new ride. I said I was shedding baggage. With the money, I rented a mountain cabin. No internet, no visitors, no wine glasses. Just quiet pines and a porch that groaned under my bare feet. For the first time in over a year, I exhaled like the air belonged to me. I packed my sketchbook, started drawing again. Not for clients, campaigns, or deadlines, but for myself. Bold, gritty charcoal lines. Sketches of a man who didn't resemble the person I'd become during that wedding year. Each mark pulled me further from the role they'd cast me in. The enabler, the invisible funder, the sideline sibling. I wasn't that anymore. One morning, I sat in a small-town cafe, a cozy spot smelling of cedar and over-roasted coffee leafing through my sketchbook when the owner paused by my table. "You made these?" I nodded, not in the mood for small talk. "We're opening a gallery next door. Want to curate the first show?" Just like that, an opportunity appeared, not because someone pulled favors. Not because I sacrificed myself for another's vision, because I showed up for me. That same evening, my phone pinged. "Mom, Lily wants to talk. She's expecting." I stared at the text. Then at the stars beyond the cabin's window. Then at the mountains glowing silver in the moonlight. And I didn't respond. Because a pregnancy wasn't an eraser. It wasn't remorse. It wasn't amends. It was another story she wanted to script. Another costume to wear for the spotlight. And I was done playing a role in her production. A week later, a letter arrived. From the venue. They were suing Lily for breach of agreement. My cancellations had sparked a cascade of unpaid vendors, broken contracts, and voided permits. The total, $83,000, and no, they weren't coming after me. I'd legally halted my payments before services were rendered. It was her spectacle, now it was her fallout. I returned to the gallery 2 weeks later, hung 6 pieces, titled the collection Unsettled Accounts. Each work was a symbol, a wedding chair without a place card. A ring dissolving into a goblet, a banquet table set for a celebration that never happened. The exhibit opened on a Thursday evening. People showed up, people lingered, people asked who inspired it. "A shadow," I said. "One I laid to rest myself." The last message came on a Sunday, from Lily, no exclamation points, no emojis, just bare words, "I can't sleep. Every time I shut my eyes, I hear the silence of my wedding. People call you a hero, they don't know the weight I carried, they don't know how hard it is to be noticed, but you made them notice you instead, you won. I hope you're satisfied." I read it for a moment, then typed. "I'm not satisfied, I'm liberated," and I blocked her. I don't know what's next. Maybe I settle here for good, maybe I start a studio. Or maybe I vanish into the forest and become an eccentric artist painting pain in watercolors. But I know this. I'm no longer the brother they boast about, then bury. I'm no longer the man who bankrolls someone else's stage. I'm the one who wrote the closing line of my family's illusion. And this time I picked my seat at the table. One where silence is honored, not ignored, where boundaries aren't up for debate, where no one throws wine, but everyone toasts. To calm, to strength, to never funding your own erasure again.